Yeah. Me and the Lord, we got an understanding.
We're on a mission from God.
And all I have to say is, drizzle, drizzle.
They shouldn't have given you ashy blokes YouTube.
Cursed be the ground for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
What's up, boss? You believe that? You hold on. Oh no. Do you believe that? Huh? Oh no. Yeah. Oh no. Come on. Do you believe? I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
All right, good people. We're back. AMA Friday. Last day of the week. We have to see about tonight. If Art should be on tonight, I'm not quite sure, but he should be on tonight. If he's on, I will not be on. If not, then it's up in the air. We'll see. Let's get it popping. Oh, Adric's batting first. Okay, it's gonna be a good game. Okay, Shannon, what's happening? Batting third, second. Snowman batting third, like the Big Hurt. Frank Thomas, Tao, what's going on? Kevin, A6, what's going on? How many white women's given Dome in reparations? As many as your reparations will pay for, sir. AB Media, give me a big lip Latina. Jermaine beaming in a number 7. Most Fet, what's happening? Free agent Triple OG, Luther, Panda Man. The cat distribution system was working overtime. Stray cat found its way into my apartment 2 days ago. I didn't even know until this morning. I knew I was tripping. Is it a real cat or is it another kind of cat? Another kind of stray cat. What's up, Charles? Prepare for my arrival. Okay, we're preparing. Supreme Pivot, what's going on? Navone, Ricky. You know somebody's going to mention who? Oh, May? Oh, who cares? Who cares about May? Just another black woman. What's up, Galen? Gundam? J-Dog? Ignatz, what's up? Daz? Shannon Green, good evening, Master Teacher. What's the difference in the way Obama got rid of illegals when he was in as opposed to Trump's method? Number one, Obama was quieter about it. And number two, Obama did something that Trump probably won't do, is go after the employers. Okay? You go after the employers, okay, people will start to self-deport. Basically, any other, I'm not calling, immigrants rodents or pests, basically, okay? If you get rid of the food supply, the problem will go away. They're not here to live. They're not here to adapt. They're here to make money, okay? They can't make money. They're not going to stay here and starve. Usual business. What up, be just on my way to Colombia to check out the Afro-Latina. Tell me how the poontang is, man, in Colombia. Tell me how the Kuma is in Colombia. Babu, Williar, what's going on? Jeffrey, Poseidon, Turtle Bitcoin, what's up? Craig? Oh, you got your big head call. How far back was the reach back, Craig? Big Trick, what's up? Shannon Green, what's up? Barry, what's going on? B-Row, what's going on? You losing, what's happening? Black Toxic, what's going on? Lynx, what's happening? Call me Skrilla, what's going on? When AI takes over and big investors have more money to put into companies like YouTube, will the content creators become middle class? I don't know. That's a good question. I do not know. It depends on you guys, man. If you guys like AI over the content creators, why would they pay us? You haven't missed anything, Horitz. We just got started. MS Delta, appreciate that. It's our spook that sits by the door. How is the how is this Israeli thing, Iran thing, affecting you, if at all? Johnny Anderson, what's up? To continue to talk about what was talked about on Wednesday, I believe Nigeria's population will hit 500 million by 2055. Could be. It's possible. It's possible. Johnny Anderson, what's up? Jedi Focus, what's going on? I'm not a Ghost Rider, what's going on? Smitty? Oh, the coochie in the Columbia is exquisite. That's what I heard, man. I heard it's the best. That's what I heard. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it's top notch. The longest reach back was 21 years. My longest reach back was 23. Yeah, 23. 23 years. That's my longest reach back. Wait a minute, more might be longer than that. Yeah, about that, about 23 years. How do you feel about age gap relationships? It's normal. As long as you get what you want, as long as she gets what she wants, it's normal. Okay. When I was in Latin America, you see 50-year-old guys with teenagers. It's no big deal. Painless arisen. There's a bigger deal to women is because women get replaced as they get older, okay? Women's function diminishes as they get older. Men's function probably increases, okay? Because he gets more established, he gets more money, he gets wiser. That is a function or attributes that is valuable to women, okay? It's not valuable to men. Her youth, beauty, and fertility is most valuable to men, okay? That diminishes as she gets past 25. So that's why Chinese men called them leftover. Okay, J. Kaz, what's going on? Palm Beach, what's happening? Mel L, what's going on? Colombian women have ranked #1 beautiful women in the world. Yeah, they are. They really are. They're probably underrated. Yeah, that part of Latin America, the Caribbean part of Latin America, is probably underrated. What's up, Kevin? What's happening? I'm 48 years old. I'm getting struggle love calls from 26 to 51. Reach back calls from 10 plus years. Hold the line, fellas. Hey, hold the line and protect your seed. Do not get these broads pregnant. Don't fall into that trap. Okay, she's looking for seed. She looking for a bailout. Okay, Shung Yu, yeah, Shung Yu, yeah, a lot of Shung Yus rolling around. This is the Bishunke. Okay, I don't know what that means. About halfway through tragedy and hope. In your opinion, can the West be saved? It's already done. It's already doomed. So it's gone already. Okay. It's already gone. In fact, Colonel Wilkerson was just saying it's already shifted. It's gone already. They're not going to catch him. They can't catch him. What was that? Well, okay. I'll show you in a minute. They go tempt. Man. It means leftover women Chinese. Okay. I was telling my son, okay, when he was a teenager, right? I said when he first started having sex, he was like 13, man. I gave him a big box of condoms. I said, if you use them, if you always use them, you won't have a problem, right? Okay. I said, once you take that bad boy off one time, it's gonna be an issue. There ain't nothing like naked poontang, man. Ain't nothing like naked kuma, as they say in Africa. Okay, raw kuma is kryptonite. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT about YouTubers making 30 to 50K a year. It said there was around 150,000 channels earning that much, and it's expected to grow to 300,000 channels earning by 2035. Yeah, well, it depends on you guys, man. More eyeballs means more money. My longest reach back was 30. Ooh, wow. Oh, is that the one from the AKA from college, MS Delta? Del Quavius, Latinos really aren't checking for black men like that, BG. It's bullshit. Okay? Bullshit. I, hey, I'm in Los Angeles, okay? I'm in fucking Los Angeles, which is California is a majority Latino state. I see that shit all the time. They are checking for us, okay? My son and his friends date them all the time. They are checking for us. Bullshit. I know that for a fact, Del Quavius. I don't know where you from. My man getting it. Oh well, hey man, you know how it is. Well, for the average sexual debut for a black boy is about 11. Believe it or not. Johnny Anderson, the West has been on top for 500 years. Why are people shocked that the West is dying? Because people never see it coming. So BGS, what happens if we attack Iran and oil goes to the roof? Do you foresee so? The thing is, I don't think it'll happen. What's going to happen is China and Russia will get involved, and all hell is going to break loose. Okay, yeah, man. I don't say your name, but I always mention you about that region. Man, all the PhDs fall out laughing when I say that, man. I mean, they fall over when I say that about that reach back. Raw Dog would play tricks on a young mind. Let me tell you, the first time made me never. I know, man. Now, if you hit it raw, man, if you hit it's like kryptonite, okay. What is it? Like Pookie be saying, it be calling me, it be calling me. Oh man, ain't nothing but coochie juice, man. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. That's very true. Chasing 29 pounds, and that's all the brother dealt with in the 90s. Yeah, I'm on saying, okay, I'm not even going to explain it, okay? If that's what you think, like I said, I am in California, which is a majority Latino state, okay? They are checking for us. And basically, the Latinos don't like Latinos checking for us like that. In fact, my son almost got into 2 fights during a graduation because because his main squeeze his bride to be is Latina. Latinos don't like that shit. I've noticed that black men who say non-black women don't want black men do not live in places like New York, California, Texas, Georgia, and Florida. Yeah, they don't know. Domestic women love black men in San Antonio. 5 generations, they do not into race versus blacks and Mexicans. Nope, it's not like that. And what basic equipment you need to start a podcast like mine? Not very much. Uh, all you need is a laptop and a mic. Okay, it depends, but really all you need is a phone. Okay, it's gotten down to a phone. If you got a decent phone, because what's basically uh, Mr. Z does his on his phone, and I think he's inside his truck on the phone. I think he's got a tablet. So anyway, um, I said that was just something I wanted to show you guys because about why we're not going to catch China. Okay, it's why it's over already. Okay, see if I can find it. And this is something I probably have to do a video on. See if I can find it. Okay, here we are. This is a major reason. This is why it's going down fast. Okay, why you're not going to catch it. Remember that I showed you that video about the the Chinese kids um, with IVs in their arms so they can stay awake and study. You just has seen pictures with me and Latina women. All it takes is a little work ethic and being family person. Latin women will pull you. Yeah, they do. All you gotta do is be a solid man. That's all. I'm a truck driver trying to decide on a career change. What top three do you think will work in our new circumstances? As hard as it depends. It depends on what your skill set is. If you're a truck driver, what kind of skill set do you have? If you're in the trades, I say welder. Okay, truck driver. Um, if you got any kind of technical skills as far as anything else, I would say logistics. It depends on your skill set. LXE, you always working doubles, man. Man, you work like a Jamaican, man. Anyway, this is the reason that we're not going to catch these people, right? Okay, speed it up just a tad. It should be obvious because remember I showed you about the Chinese kids with IVs in their arms trying to study, trying to stay awake and study. Okay, versus us.
Our students cannot read at grade level. As a music teacher, I didn't really think I had a whole lot to add to this conversation, but I don't think a lot of y'all understand how much this is affecting them in every single course that they're taking, not just the ones where they're having to write and read passages like science and math and reading courses, but it's affecting them in every aspect of their schooling. I'm going to put up a chart of a music staff so that you can see what exactly I'm talking about, because I have a story about this past year and some of the struggles that I saw in my band hall with kids that did not know how to read at their grade level. So what I was noticing this past year with my students is they weren't just having those typical issues that you would have to work through. A lot of these kids would not even use alphabet symbols. They would be making up symbols. They would not even know how to write A, B, C, D, E, F, G on their piece of paper. They wouldn't know how to form those letters. They would also have issues not knowing alphabetical order in general. So if they knew how to write A, B, C, D, E, F, G, they couldn't answer to me what letter would come after C in the alphabet. And I would ask them things like that specifically. What comes after C in the alphabet? They couldn't answer it. And I'm not just talking one or two kids in the class. I'm talking closer to 50%. And we're not also just talking about sixth graders. We're talking about sixth, seventh, and eighth graders, kids that are about to go into high school. And did it make the job of teaching kids how to read music harder? Yes, but I think the reason why I'm wanting to point this out specifically is that a lot of teachers in middle school grades or upper level grades before you get into high school aren't necessarily dealing with skills that require you to go back to those remedial basics like the alphabet or drawing letters. But in music class, we literally work with the alphabet every single day. We only work with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 7 letters of the alphabet. And a lot of these kids do not know the first 7 letters of their alphabet or what order they go in. So I can only imagine how they are having issues reading and writing when they can't even identify the first 7 letters of the alphabet. It is a crisis. And before you say, well, maybe you're just not teaching the concept good enough for them to understand that they need to use the alphabet, I would see a correlation most of the time between the kids that were having those issues that I discussed and the ones that could not complete a writing assignment in music class, which I did have them write things out a lot. And oftentimes the same kids that could not identify their alphabet or write things in alphabetical order also could not write passages on their own that were legible and readable.
I know all last week, all over social media, you saw nothing but teachers talking about how elementary and middle school kids are reading 4 years below grade level. Well, as a high school teacher, I'm here to inform you that high school kids are doing way worse. They are reading 6 years below grade level. The only difference is a whole heap of these kids are going to graduate at the end of this school year. And we are expecting them to go to college and obtain jobs when they cannot even comprehend basic skills, which is why we probably see a problem with employers finding employees. There are literally high school kids reading on a 3rd grade reading level, and still states are expecting teachers to prepare kids and have them pass state tests that are on or above grade level. See, the issue is schools have dumbed it down for kids. They have made it so easy that kids believe that their only job is to show up and behave, and that should be enough to get a passing grade and to go on to the next grade level. We have a real issue here, and please do not talk to me about graduation rates, because Bugs Bunny could graduate in this era. Make it make sense.
Spell philosophy.
Last one.
Spell philosophy. Ain't no way, bro. You 16, he's 17. Y'all juniors and seniors in high school, man. Spell it. Ain't no way.
Junior and senior in high school.
We erase the board. We're going to forget about the other stuff. I'm going to give y'all another chance. Spell philosophy. Mother. Oh. Keep going. I'm curious. I'm curious to see. Come on. Spell philosophy. Yeah. Man. Damn face. Come on. Get out the way. Let me see what y'all spell. Come on. All right. Uh-huh. So that's... Oh, y'all ain't done. Philosophy.
Put a Y on here.
That's our final word? Philosophy? Huh? Look at y'all. Man, spell cute, Makai. Spell cute. I'm gonna give you something simple. I ain't even gonna say that. Cute. That's a fourth grade word, dog. Spell cute. Spell it.
Spell it with a Q.
Dog. Makai. That don't make no damn sense.
That's why we're not gonna catch him, okay? Like I said, I showed you these kids, the Chinese kids with IVs in their fucking arms, okay? Trying to stay awake and study so they can concentrate better. And we got kids that can't even spell and in freaking high school. Come on, man. Can't even spell cute. Buddy got Yeezys on. He probably can't spell Yeezy, though. What is it? I mean, you know, my grandson has a iPhone. He texts all the time. My grandson can read Shakespeare. My grandson can read Shakespeare. The thing is, we have to be able to compete with these people, okay, with the other rest of the world, right? How are we going to compete against the Chinese and the Koreans and the Asians and basically the people that stick IVs in their fucking arms so they can study better, and we don't even have kids that can spell. They're getting ready to go to college and can't spell. Come on. These videos are a product of second wave. They are. In fact, that's why I played you that chick that talked about feminism in school in education, right? Okay, she said the same thing. She talked about grade inflation, where 41% is a C, and the average GPA in high school is 3.93 with kids that can't fucking spell. Come on, man. These women don't care. It's a job now to these women. It's nothing. They don't care. Let me see. Hold on. I'll do you one better. I'll go ahead and post a link to the video. Okay. I just want to show it to you because that comes up. Okay, about competing against the Chinese. Okay, how are you going to compete against them? Okay. As they put up an image of that. Well, I showed it in. I showed you the video. In fact, they were taking a certain test. That's why I showed it to you how competitive that they are compared to us. Okay, they out of 21 industries, the Chinese are first. The Chinese are first. They write like they text now. Yeah, they do. But there's you still should know how to spell. Okay. Nobody's making them do it. No, it's worse than idiot. I wish it was idiocracy. Okay. One thing black women don't bring to the table is kids that read on grade level, but they're the most educated, right? Yeah, that's sad. I used to be in a district-wide spelling bees 4 times a year in elementary. What is the issue with these kids? They're not being taught. It's obvious. They don't read and they're not being taught. Not all Western mothers, but a majority of them. I don't know what you're talking about, man. That's not the issue about Western mothers one way or the other, okay? It's not just the black community, it's the whole country. That teacher was not black. She was white. That music teacher, she taught at a white school. She wasn't black. We who? The black community? The country, okay? The population is dumbed down on purpose. It has been, okay, to our detriment. True, better off getting with a tiger mom to have your kids outcompete their peers. Yeah, that is true. I mean, shorten the end of the word. For example, your language grind. The thing is, them texting and them being able to read are two different things, okay? We don't make these kids read, okay? Grade inflation is real. And the thing is, they're forcing the teachers to do this shit. Okay, a lot of the teachers that I listen to are disgusted the way that this district is forcing them to teach, and a lot of teachers have given up. How did it get this bad? They basically handed over to the females, and the females are more women are more about making the kids feel good than about making them better. Right? What did I say, MS Delta? Okay, your mother makes you feel better. Your father makes you better. That's his job. Okay, we handed over the educational system to the women. While folks are too afraid to say Western mothers is crap, I say it easily. That's the issue right there. Dudes don't want to say the whole freaking society has gone to the dogs. Okay. In fact, I think I'll do that maybe next week. The Diary of the CEO. I think it was Diary of the CEO. He actually had two feminists on, man, three feminists actually going back and forth, right? And they were saying that second wave feminism is killing Western society. That's what they were saying. It's killing it. The average graduation rate is above 90%. Yeah. Like she said, what did she say? Bugs Bunny could graduate from high school. The cat in the video was like, "What did I walk into?" Do the teachers even reach out to parents about this shit? The parents don't care. I met an 8-year-old boy who doesn't know how to tie his shoes. Yes, he is being raised by a single mother. Yeah, but all the other stats don't add up. I don't know what that means, Art. Our skills were tested on the regular and not always by the standardized test sent by the state. Basically, yeah, this should be a crime. Okay. Like I said, learning how to your alphabet. I was 4 years old. I don't know why, but my mother made me sit for 20 minutes in a room by myself, and I had to write out my alphabet and had to write them in order. I had to write them perfectly before I could leave that room. Okay, I was 4. Now they couldn't spell cute. You can't compete only making 551K a year as a black man. I don't give a shit about that. Okay, I don't give a shit about it. You could be okay. There was a homeless woman. Okay, there was a homeless girl. She was homeless. She was homeless. She stayed her little black ass in a fucking library. She went to an Ivy League school. Okay, she got scholarships. I don't want to hear that shit. I want to hear that shit. You can compete. I don't care how much you make. You can compete. You can compete. Blacks want Ebonics. You still have to spell with Ebonics. Ebonics is actually Ebonics was like Ebonics was like a ESL class, right? If you go back and listen to Ernie Smith, okay, Dr. Ernie Smith, he said Ebonics is what you come to school with, right? So, but things has to be corrected in school, okay? That's where Ebonics came from. It was never to actually be spoken. We speak it anyway. We speak it anyway, okay? Let's see if I can find it, okay? Real quick, see if I can find it, because I sent it to my girl in Kenya, because it cracks her up about the. See if I can find her, because it cracked her up. I might not be able to find it. It might be on another channel. It might be on another channel. Let me see. Let me find it real quick, because this is natural Ebonics. This is the way We have learned to speak. Man, I'm doing all this shit today. In fact, I have to clip this. Okay, I have to clip this. This is a chick in Louisiana, and she says how to tell if there's alligators in the water, right? And this is a natural abonics because this is how really I learned to speak. And Miss Delta probably tell you the same thing. Okay, so don't laugh too hard. Okay.
All right, so a little fishing 101 today, yo, because a lot of people been saying, Queen, how you know they got
That's Ebonics, okay? That's where we learn to talk, okay? But things, Ernie Smith tried to we get a program in schools that would correct that situation, okay? I remember taking graduate science class, you had to get 85% just to pass, yeah. Well, in fact, yeah, in science classes, they actually, 71 will not get you a C, okay? It's got to be 80% or better. Your bearing parents are to blame. Well, the whole society's to blame, okay? There's no way that kids should get passed and they can't make the grade, okay? Should not pass that kid. The whole society is to blame. Whole society. It's not it's a societal failure because even back during sharecropping days, okay, more people knew how to read. That's ridiculous. The whole society is in on this shit. Okay, it's not just the parents. I wish it was. There's a book by Robert Taylor Gatto called Dumbing Us Down. He speaks to these issues and was written years ago. Yeah, I'm a good fan of Robert Taylor Gatto. In fact, that's where I learned about the Prussian school system. Should sue these people, damn it. Well, the thing is, in fact, no, Ernie Smith was like 40 years ago. If men care about their legacy, better get a tiger mom. That's what I tell you. If you care about your kids' education, get yourself an Asian woman, right? Instead, just saw a TikTok where this woman was talking about her two sons are getting held back. She didn't care, of course. She said they don't have to go to school if they don't feel like it. Yeah. Well, the thing is that is the attitude that has been spread around. Okay. That's the attitude that's been spread around, and they've given the whole society over to females, right? And basically matrilineal or gynocratic societies die, and this one's dying. Okay, this one's dying. It's dying right in front of our faces. It's dying, and they don't know what to do about it. Well-intentioned policy programs not concerned about the results. Exactly. My best friend already has her 18-month-old practicing his ABCs, and her husband's stress education. Yeah, they try if they want this kid to thrive in this coming society. But the thing is, you got a lot of slow campers out there. The thing is, your kid knows how to read, write, and do math. Okay, you are like, and you're probably automatically in the top 20% of all students just by doing that, without all the special stuff. Okay, you're in the top 20% just by doing that. If you want your kid to be educated, either you get yourself an Asian or white Jewish female. That I wish it was. I wish that was not true, but it is. Looking for a place. My wife in August. International. Take my wife in August international. I don't know where you're gonna take her. I mean, any place is fine. The thing is, there's always good schools everywhere. Okay, my grandson is in a black Catholic school. It's a good school. Okay, it's a good school. They try to walk the line because the state pushes stuff on them, but the thing is, it is a good school. Okay, we have a private black school that's right down the street, which is even better than the one he's in. Right, but the thing is, my grandson's parents didn't want to pay the fee for the school. Okay, they didn't want to. They didn't want to pay that. Yeah, I think it was $500 for a month for the private school. But the thing is, that's daycare. They didn't want to pay for that. Okay? And they had him doing. When I had him, when he came home with the homework, had to help him with the homework. It's like 2 hours worth of homework every day. Okay, when he went to a public school, it went from 2 hours a day to 2 hours a week. ABS, you heard the new video from SWP on Thursday and white believes black men to. No, I haven't seen it. Okay. If that's not true, if that was the case, then black women would not be complaining about being approached. Okay. The exact opposite is happening. I remember a time when not knowing how to read was a big deal, even had sitcom episodes about it. Yep, not anymore. Low-key darkness could be said about Gullah Geechees here in South Carolina. Yep. I think I'm going to take it to Jamaica. Any place you're comfortable. Any place you're comfortable. If it's about education, then you got to go to Asia. They're going to make sure. Asians don't play with their education. I think the issue is that people think our government system is meant to serve us like a buffet when it's actually more like a sit down where you can get what you want. It doesn't. Well, the thing is, that's how come the country's failing ultimately. Okay, because it's coming back to bite them in the ass. Because now you don't have the workers to actually work that shit. Okay, if I marry a Japanese Brazilian in Sao Paulo, will you officiate the wedding? I'm sure a lot of people here would be in attendance. And the bachelor's party will be, yeah, it would be. It would be off the charts. It'd be just when I took an effective speaking in college, the teacher was a black female. She had a black students meet with here to go over the most mispronounced words. I still use some of her techniques today. She was serious about black Southerners speaking. Yes, speaking correctly. Yes, it used to be. Not anymore. Marcus Garvey is $550 a month, and it's worth it. Yes, it is. Because I met a young man that was, I think he's 10 years old at Marcus Garvey. Man, you can tell. You can tell the difference. Good afternoon. I want to run for Congress in Maryland, specifically in PG County. Can I pay you to help me with policy? I suppose, it depends. Email me and we can talk about it. Because I don't know the specifics of the area, so. But PG's got plenty of money, man. Skip your super chat. I didn't see your super chat, sir. Okay. Is it fair to say that the so-called elites do not know how to strike a balance between keeping men effeminate and controlled versus raising competent men? The problem is most of your voters are what? Female, okay? Most of your voters are female now. That's the problem. That's your issue, okay? How because your voting populace now is female all over the world, right? And how Donald Trump is basically doing it for us. They don't like it, okay? It's already being done now. The elites are turning back the clock. Why? Because they have to at least try to keep pace with China, okay? They've already lost ground, and it's not just manufacturing, but things also military, right? Okay. Just like Israel, right? Israel, they're running out right now. Israel's running out of anti-aircraft missiles, right? Okay, they only have so many. Okay, they think Iran's going to run out of missiles, right? China produces 4,000 cruise missiles a week, and they just sent 3 cargo planes to Iran. Iran is not going to run out. They just said that, right? Okay. Just in the United States, just with Ukraine alone, Russia outproduces as far as munitions, right? All of Western Europe and United States, Russia makes more munitions in 3 months than they make in a year. They can't produce enough because you don't have the manufacturing base, because you didn't train these boys to actually do this kind of stuff, okay? Because of money. world's destination for family building should be Asia. If you want, yeah, if you want to do that, if you want a society that believes in education, it should be Asia, and secondarily, if you want to keep it Western, Germany. No, $550 a month. That's Marcus Garvey. I said I would be a good minister. Somebody told me that. I skip your super chat as well. Okay, I didn't see it. I was probably changing. BGS, I realized when you showed all of those books on stream the other day that the book of Eli was a topic based on your life. It could be. Pringles with a can. There he is. Okay. In the make work jobs in education, use AI to teach the kids, let them graduate at 15 and join the workforce, military school, or prison. The thing is with AI, okay, it's not ready yet. It's not developed yet because you have to tune the kids and the AI to work together, and it's not there yet. They found that out they tried to do that during COVID. Okay, the year and a half COVID lockdown of schools, they tried to experiment with that. Kids cannot learn from AI. It's not there yet. At best, it has to be what they call a flipped classroom, which is mixed. Ivan Griffin, appreciate you. Is the current kosher hell alpha, do you think is cut off discounted oil to China? Partly. Now that in the Ukraine, what they're trying to do, the thing is, they don't want to destroy China. They actually want to contain China. You listen to Mearsheimer talk about it. That's what it's about. It's about containment. They can't kill it because if you kill it, you kill your manufacturing base. It'll take you 30 years to actually replace it. Yeah, the thing is, I don't know all the specific details in that area. Because the thing is, the thing is, if you want to be effective, you got to find out where the weak points in the argument of the people that you're opposing. Okay, that's what you look for. Okay, and then you emphasize that, and then you find an alternative to the mistakes that you're making. That's how you get people's attention. And so we're cooked that tried to enroll my children into a private black school. Their mom fought me against it because she'd lose 50-50 custody and child support. Yep, cooked. Yeah. Women care more about comfort than anything else. How long you think it'll be until women realize that we're behind as a country and change voting? It's going to take another 5 years, okay? Seems like a joke now. Well, yeah, but the thing is, they basically that's what Tulsi Gabbard was trying to tell. Tulsi Gabbard and Hegseth were trying to tell Trump that. Okay, I don't know why Trump green lighted this shit things because everybody knew what would happen. Okay, I guess he didn't believe flat men. Basically, he went down there to the pond to that body of water, and I guess that water wasn't wet. Okay, he didn't think there was no gator in that water. He went down there and tried his ass down into that water and found that there was a gator in there. I heard a white YouTuber called China a paper tiger. They don't want to believe America's not the supreme power anymore. And, well, I mean, they can believe anything they want, okay? I guess shipping, manufacturing overseas was a big mistake. I hope dollars were well spent. Oh, they spent it well, man. They made trillions of dollars off of that. How have you done a video on book reference? I've done several. Depends on what your topic is because there's too many books. Now, put in a super chat, Chaos. FAFO, that's what happened. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, when you put it on the floor and you step on it and you slip and break your ass, then you find out, oh man, that fat meat sure is greasy. No, he's not scared of the Mossad. No, he's not. He's not afraid of it. Hey, Miss Delta, they didn't believe no. They didn't think there was no gators in that water. But the thing is, the water was wet, so you know there's gator in it. Come on, baby. Yeah, that's how come they sideline Hexess and Gabbard. Okay, basically we told them shut the fuck up. Right, we're doing this, and they have to because guess what? They're part of his cabinet. It's up to him to make the decision. But things they told him. The only reason we know is because what is it? It was leaked. WikiLeaks actually leaked that. So somebody on Gabbard's staff actually leaked to the WikiLeaks. Okay, because she didn't say it out. She didn't actually come out and dispute him. Western women do not think long term, man. Women do not think long term. Catching up at 2x speed, cute. We are done. Slow roasted, baked, sautéed, stir fried, double battered, whatever you call it. We are cooked. And KMS is one of them dudes. Okay, KMS no. You can't if half your children or the majority of children cannot read at grade level, we're cooked. Because KMS knows the Chinese ain't no joke. KMS will tell you that the Chinese ain't no joke. Said Laverick said, "Eat some gators in that water," but Trump thought it was a pet dog in that water. Oh boy. I see somebody sent it to me. I think it was passport. Was it passport OG? I think it might have been passport OG. Let me look for it. Okay, real quick. I think it was passport OG that actually did a video on it, and he had the clip. Geez, let me see. Because OG just did it today. I was actually going to review the whole thing. Um, I was actually going to review the whole thing. Um, this is funny about Intel and their layoffs. Oh, it's hilarious. It is fucking hilarious. Might have to look it up. Thought I had it. Let me go ahead and look him up. Because OG was actually had it on today. Okay, that little a clip. It was towards the end because the interview that Diary CEO had on was like 2.5 hours. Okay, and they were going back and forth. Let me see if I can find it. And there he is. Videos. Okay. I think this is it. Let's see. Let's see. Because he actually did a pretty good job. OG actually did a pretty good job on this. Okay. Let's see. Let's play a little bit of it, and then we'll get out of here. They can't even form letters like symbols. They noticed that back in Japan when the cell phones first became popular, that the Japanese kids were losing the ability to actually write because they were texting so much. Um, so like my daughter, I don't know why it is my daughter cannot force my grandson to read, right? But the thing is, I had to really um, take him aside and actually make him read, okay, and make him, because he was actually failing in his English class, and because he wasn't reading the book. So what I did is I had the book on Kindle. I got the book on Audible. I actually played the book, but you had to read along with the book. Okay, you had to actually read along with the book, and I made him write me down a 1 paragraph or 2 paragraph summary of what he just heard. Okay, and it was like once a day until he finished the book. Okay, and it brought his grade up from failing to like an A, and his teacher was actually impressed. Say Pro Action G Savage. And 300 was it 350,000? 350 Zaire dollars. Okay, appreciate you. What's your opinion? I haven't even heard the video yet. I don't listen to them every day, so I don't I haven't listened to it, so I don't know.
Point of fear that if we don't keep pushing this envelope for the liberation of women, then things are going to go back in the other direction. But then again, if this is a 7-game series, and let's say that you were surprised by the first game of the series, and maybe you're not married to a woman that's treating you like your mother or your grandmother, well, it's not the whole series, it's just the first step. And you're going to hear many of the tropes from this particular woman, but she's not doing the long math, which is essentially the looming problem for all of the progressive feminist movement.
We wouldn't have been able to go and get a mortgage or a bank account on our own. We couldn't have anything. So instead of blaming feminism, which has got us around this table so frequently, I feel we should look at, okay, feminism got us here, and now what would we like next? Feminism has got us this far. So how can we encourage, instead of damning feminism, encourage feminism to make sure we admire and respect and pay properly the women in our workplaces? And
well, yeah, she did, because they don't have anything else, okay? Because they want to hold on to their power, but the thing is, they don't realize they'd rather be queen of the ashes than be in second place.
Also admire and respect and pay properly, or make sure that women are in safety and security when they parent. How can we do both?
What she's alluding to here is a conversation that they were having earlier, where when women decide to stay at home and be with children for the first 2 or 3 years, she wants some kind of program to supplement it. Of course, the conversation led to, well, since there is not that kind of program, there needs to be alternative measures to just putting your kids in daycare. And that's where you start seeing the long...
Yeah, well, the thing is the paper tiger is bombed the hell out of the Microsoft building and the Mossad building and the IDF building and a few others, right? Okay, they're basically they're bombing the hell out of Israel. So the paper tiger is actually burning the hell up out of Israel right now. Whereas the Israelis are trying to get the fuck out of the country, and Netanyahu is banning them for actually leaving the country. So some paper tiger, okay, boots on the ground, said that's bullshit. So I don't care what anybody says, the facts and evidence.
Long math fall apart in plain sight.
How can we do both?
I agree with that.
I feel when you keep saying, well, feminism did this, feminism did this, at this time, this is we got to meet this moment, women. We have to meet this moment. And do you know what this moment is? This moment is a moment where Roe versus Wade has been overturned, where far-right Christian nationalists are rising up to take away our rights. There are people in America right now saying there should be 1 vote per household, and that should go to the man. I have seen Paula White, who is the faith czar at the White House, saying it's God's arrangement that women be in subjection to men. I have lived that. I will not go back.
Spirit of justice, prove it. Prove it.
You are both professional women, intelligent women. You have written books. Please come with me and say feminism has got us this far and feminism can take us further.
This is right at the 1 hour, 52 minute mark of the actual video, but it's clear that these 3 women have been in the recording room for at least twice as long, probably somewhere close to 3 or 4 hours at this point. And the video is by far being led by Deborah.
Gaza is not Iran, sir. Gaza is not Iran.
Frances White, who is essentially parroting all of the fears that feminists often say, but she is flanked by Erica Commissar, who is a psychoanalyst and a clinical social worker, and Louise Perry, who is a data checker. She's a stat collector. She wrote a book on a case against the sexual revolution. And what you're seeing is a bit of frustration on their parts, because if people like Deborah Francis White continue to parrot this kind of, I dare say, extreme feminism, then you can't really move anywhere because it's just not going in a direction that can be remedied. And you can see a measure of fatigue on their faces because they're almost coming to the realization that they cannot reason with this woman.
If you keep saying feminism's to blame, the manosphere are watching and they take those clips, they go, see, women are saying feminism.
So I think the idea is, I believe in maternal feminism, where all women are respected, whether they work at home or they work outside the home.
Luis.
So I think that is exactly why we need to be thinking about maternal feminism. Because if feminism cannot reproduce itself, literally, if it is the case that a feminist society is a very...
Guess what? Okay. That was one strike. Guess what? Israel's getting ready to run out of anti-aircraft missiles, okay? The only reason Israel's able to do that is because of the United States. They can't do it by themselves, okay? Israel's getting his ass kicked right now. Everybody's saying it. Israel's getting their ass kicked right now. Royally, okay? Now they're getting ready to sue for peace in a minute.
Very low fertility society, which does not respect motherhood, which discourages women from having children because it limits your freedom, etc. Then feminism dies out. Feminist societies die out. They wither and die. And conservative, very conservative, not the kind of conservative I'm okay with, like the very conservative societies, if they are the only ones that can accommodate children, then they win.
Every guy should start in jail and have to work his way out.
Absolutely.
I think
love
that's
that idea.
Because it's like you need to earn your place out here.
You do.
In my opinion.
You do. And it should be treated as if they're on probation for a while. Like one strike, you're back.
Yeah, even when they're out.
At the moment, the best predictors of within low fertility societies like ours, the best predictors of how many children you have is basically how religious you are and how conservative you are. Now Republicans are massively outstripping Democrats. And the thing is that all of this stuff is at least to some extent heritable. People are to some extent, they adopt the politics and the worldviews of their parents. Not always, obviously people rebel, but in general, you imitate the culture you were raised in. Basically, the current trajectory, while we're kind of arguing about the rights and wrongs of this stuff, the current trajectory is for our society to become much more conservative. And that's what the birth rates phenomenon spells for everyone. And I genuinely think, as someone who likes being able to have my own bank account and vote and whatever, I actually
have choices.
Yeah, right. Like I'm a centrist here, okay? And I actually think that if we care about any of that stuff, then we have to find a way of having a feminism that is fertile.
The argument being made here by Louise Perry is a very factual, fact-based one. If women are going to be feminists and they want to change the way of doing things away from the traditional way of doing things, they have to find a way to do it and be able to reproduce it. And that is the looming problem when I talk about the game 2 through 7. How do you do this down the road? How do you get guys to want to come into a space and help you be this if you don't have a healthy place for them? This is the part of the video where you cannot help but see the gaping gap between the emotional argument from Deborah Francis White, basically imploring young ladies to do what you want to do, and if you want to work, don't worry about how the kids get here, and I feel, and what I see around me suggests, and the actual numbers that Louise Perry is going to put on the table. That if you want to have this brand of feminism in the future, not only do you need to find a way to make it work for a greater number of people, but you have to be able to reproduce it. And it's not reproducing, and you're going to see, not just in this particular part, but in something she said earlier in this same interview, that is going to go directly against the argument she's making right here.
Deborah, we need a fertile feminism, according to Louise.
Listen, I'm as barren as Steve, so I can't help with this. However,
no kids.
I'm fine about it. Don't worry. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I have an amazing life, and in the end, I think this was probably.
Now, the first problem is right there. She doesn't have any kids, or at least she's saying that she's barren. So maybe she doesn't have any more kids. I'm not sure. But as adamant as she is, her views can only be spread by spreading her views to other people's kids, and that's going to get harder as time progresses. But continuing,
be the better thing for me. But I don't think we need to call it maternal feminism. All the feminists I know either have children or really support the mothers in their community, including me. I don't recognize this, guys. I don't recognize it. I feel like.
Why they always fall back on all the people that I know, which is bullshit. Okay. All the feminists I know. I always say the same thing. I don't know who you looking at, but I don't see it in my world. That's bullshit. You wouldn't be here on this panel if that was true.
I go on marches, feminist marches in London. There's children everywhere.
Secular progressive people are so below replacement, just on the data.
If you go back 20 minutes previous to the point of the video that we were just watching, you can almost hear Erica Commissar making a plea to modern feminist women that there is a special place that women used to hold in society that in the wake of feminism is now gone. And if you don't have that role there, then feminism essentially can't work.
50% of young women don't want to have children. So, again, I'm all for choice, and I think women have to come together. So in a way, the feminism movement didn't unite women, it split women. In many ways, the second wave of feminism, women were historically, for millennium, the caretakers of a community, the community leaders. They would check on the elderly, they would feed the poor, they would take care of the children, right? So what happened is that we took them out of their caretaking roles, and it was like taking a keystone species out of the environment. Much of the environment degraded and shriveled up. That's why we're seeing 50%. That's why we're seeing, in my opinion, that's why we're seeing such a rise in mental illness. Women aren't going to check on their neighbors anymore. They're not feeding the poor at their local church. They're really preoccupied with making money and materialism and the GDP and a world in which they are no longer caretakers. Now, not everybody's meant to be a caretaker, but the point is, once we lose that lynchpin, the society degrades.
The ecosystem.
It degrades. We are doing terrible damage to our children by putting them in daycare. Now, daycare was the feminist agenda. It was about the second wave of feminism. They said, put your babies in daycare. It's the only way you're going to go back to work and work. And they didn't talk about children. Poor women can live together and support one another and form communities. They can share care of a caregiver. It's far better to have a single surrogate attachment figure, a babysitter who is a full-time babysitter, than putting a child in daycare.
I want to be careful in using a loaded word like opponent in this push and pull that feminism has brought to the...
Well, you used to put the grandparents in the caretaking role of children if you had to work, okay? The second wave feminists killed that too.
Forefront, but we have to establish some new equilibrium, otherwise we're going to run out of people. That's just how humanity works. And you hear Erica Commissar essentially give a playbook for how women can have strong careers and also raise children that are not traumatized. Find a woman or a group of women that you feel a strong kinship with and share the child rearing duties with each other. Of course, if I were a coach, and I'm not saying that we're opponents, but if you're looking at the 7-game series and maybe you got snuck up in the first game, you thought, oh, I'm going to find someone to be like my great grandmother and they're going to bake cookies for me. Oh, I found out that I'm not going to get that now. Okay, well, we're at game 2, game 3. And do you listen to this response? You could see exactly why Erica Commissar's plan will not work. And it's simply because you got to find someone willing to sacrifice. And this woman...
Basically, Chef Butter Biscuits, Passport Bros are already really they've already done it for the most part. Okay, most of the people they will deport will probably be male Latinos. Okay, the females will probably stay. Okay, in other words, you just imported 3-4 million women and sent their men home. So you pretty much imported a whole bunch of foreign women.
Deborah Francis White, she ain't willing to sacrifice.
Is it our job to be down at the soup kitchen and checking on the elderly neighbour? Surely that's the community's job. We should raise our sons and daughters to do that. All children should be raised to check on. It's not.
In other words, basically, this is the flat humanness, right? Basically, you should raise boys to take on the role of women. Okay. In other words, that's what they believe in this egalitarian, where there is no male or female jobs, it's all one thing, right? But the thing is, one thing I can say about the ERA that I agreed with, even though women shot that shit down, right? Okay, it was real equality for women. In other words, equality not of outcome, but also responsibility. You got to sign up for the draft just like everybody else, okay? You got to be a firefighter just like everybody else. You got to go out and work on the oil rig just like everybody else, okay? But they don't do that shit. You got to go out and become a mechanic just like everybody else, okay? If you want boys and girls to be exactly the same, then they have to do exactly the same jobs, okay? There should be female software companies. There should be female companies. Half the companies in Silicon Valley should be female. Half your corporation should be run by females, but it's not. Okay, they want to be given shit. Rhetorical question: if society is browbeating one half of it for no longer wanting to carry the other while after nothing but sore arms and a sense of satisfaction, how is this supposed to work? It's not supposed to work. It doesn't. That's how come. In fact, it was a feminist anthropologist. She said because of the unfairness, any kind of matriarchal leaning or gynocentric leaning society, the men will leave. Okay, what is happening? Even though the men haven't left, guess what they have done? They have shut down. Okay, that's how come you have a lot of young men. We said that back in MGTOW like 11, 12 years ago, right? The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Okay, that's where it come from. The juice is not worth the squeeze. That's how come young men are shutting down, okay? They're not getting their needs met, and they're giving up way too much. They said, fuck it, I can get my own needs met just by doing the basics, okay? That's what's happening. Anyway, we'll finish this out.
Job. I work in a writer's room at the moment, and I love it. And I am not less good in the room than any man. I get so much joy from it. It's so exciting. If we say, oh, feminism took away my key linchpin role where I have to like go to a soup kitchen and then check on a neighbor and check on the graphic, while men still get to go into the writer's room and create an animated feature film like it was in the 50s or the 60s or even the...
Well, why don't you go on the oil rig, okay? Why don't you go on the oil rig? I mean, if it's there's nothing that stops women from starting their own animation company. Nothing. They have money, they have education, they can start their own. Nothing stops them from doing it. They don't want to compete. Okay, they want to join you. Just like in the Passport Bros, man. In fact, I'm gonna do that video today, right? Okay, the black chicks are following men to Thailand. Okay, are they really dating Asian men? This one chick did, but things are they really dating? She got pregnant by an Asian man, by a Chinese guy from Australia. Now she's looking for a black baby daddy. Because Chinese man bounced, okay? Si se puede, yes we can. Yeah, I heard that. I honestly don't know what women want. Women don't know what they want. What they want is what they call equity, okay? They want the rewards without the responsibility. That's what they want, okay? That shit doesn't work.
The 70s or the 80s or the damn 90s, let's be honest. I don't get to do that. The film gets to be more male. It tells the story to the next generation, and the boys get to make that film. And the stories go on and on and on. My role is checking on the elderly neighbor, and the man's role is to go and write the exciting movie and create
hang
the
on,
story.
that's not the counterpart. Men do pro-social things too. They don't just write TV shows. They fight fires. They earn money. They chop wood. I'm really.
But I'm talking about what Erica was saying about the unpaid labor of checking.
So can I say,
after a breakup, she's always going to win game 1. Just worry about games 2 through 7. Facts, bro.
However you may feel about Candace Owens' talking points, one thing cannot be denied. She is walking the walk. Not only does she have the 2 children she has in these photos, she has 4 children. And many of the very progressive women that are living very open, career-centered lives, maybe even some of them are doing things online that are racy. Are they having the children to offset the number of children that are being had in these conservative households? My guess is no. And when we talk about doing the math for game 2, game 3, all the way down to game 6 and game 7, game 1 is the first game where you see what their game plan is. I'm not saying that this is a mono or however you may say it for women against men, but if feminism wants to continue their push and have some power besides we want it because we're going to take our bras off in March or give it to us because shame on you, there are women on the other side that are more conservative that are going to say we want to preserve some method of traditional in our country and we're not going to give it to you. And that's not even including men. Or even the children that were raised under that woman who says, I grew with my mother. I want traditional in my family, in my country. If you don't have the voting public to go against that, then game 6 and game 7 are going to be a rout. And I say all of that to say that maybe many young men think that maybe feminism is the reason why things are so difficult, whatever. And I would simply say that no matter what things are and how you may feel about the current situation, the only thing that really matters is the actions that are being done by people and the kind of policies that are going to be the result of that. And what you're seeing now is feminism is a lot of bark, but the bite, I don't know where it's going to come from.
It never had no bite because at the end of the day, it doesn't do anything, right? Unless it has the support of the men, all matriarchies will die, okay? Will die. There's a reason that patriarchies exist. When you get to a certain number of people, okay, connectedness does not work. You have to have laws and regulations. That's purview of men. Purview of men. Anyhow, what would you say? What price did you say? The thing is, okay, if you're going to do it now, you have to. I would have to look at a chart. Okay. I said a couple of months ago about 70,000 is 75,000 was where you should actually start buying it. I think it did come down to that point and it went back up. Now you got wars and all kind of stuff, man. So it's going to be up and down. Okay, it's going to be up and down. So trying to buy in, you have to buy in where you can, on a dip, and cross your fingers. Oh, no problem, man. The thing is, they're asking about something. I remember you had just done a video on this today, and the exact same thing they were asking about. So the thing is, instead of me explaining, I'll let you explain it. So it's no problem. Thank you for producing the video. But the thing is, I actually wanted to go through the whole discussion because it's in line to what I've been saying, right? Okay, feminism, second wave feminism, there is no end game, okay? They're not willing to take on the responsibilities of men. If you don't do that, then it's not going to work, right? Okay, if you don't want to be if you don't want to let that guy stay home, okay, and take care of the kids and take care of him, okay, which women don't, then it's not going to work. Men are not going to go in for that because it's unfair. Men don't like being partners, okay? Especially when they have to carry the biggest load of being a partner. You want traditional men, traditional partner. In other words, you have to still do what men have always done, and I'll get to do what I want, okay? You got to do all of what you do and half of what I do. Men are not going for that deal, okay? Especially when they can walk away in 5 to 8 years. Okay, if you're black, 5 years. Nobody gonna marry a chick if she gonna walk away in 5 years and take a lot of cash and prizes. Okay, they're not. Being married for a chick for 5 years is like having a baby mama. Might as well have a baby mama. Feminism is all bark and no bite because the chief recipients, women, have neither the muscle, power, force of arms, nor will to maintain. So they don't want to take up the mantle. Okay. A lot of jobs today that they have, women can do, okay? They don't want to do that shit, okay? Finance, you don't have to have no muscle, okay? Software and IT, you ain't got to have no muscle. All you have to have is will. They don't want to do that shit. It has failed. Your second wave feminists said in 2012, okay, that feminism will probably fail. Like I said, you've gotten as far as you're going to get with this idea, right? And the thing is, it's killing your societies because you had to take from the boys to do it. So guess what that did? It's like putting hamstringing your fastest runner. You're going to lose that relay against other people. Willie R says feminists. Okay, nobody because I read that one already. All right. Anyway. Can the Pacers do what the Bullets did in '78? It's possible. I think it's going to be a 7-game series. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought that when I first looked at the teams, but so man, I realized why I don't like. I'm realizing why basketball fans are actually looking more at the women's game rather than the men's game, right? The women's game looks more like the old-fashioned basketball before they came into this 3-point, 5-out look. Okay, it looks more like traditional basketball. That's how come a lot more men are actually looking at the WNBA. Okay, especially since Caitlin Clark. Okay, it's more recognizable. The shit, I was looking at the Pacers in versus Oklahoma City. It looks like a freaking all-star game. It doesn't look like a traditional basketball game. That's what it looks like. You run up and down the court, you throw some lobs, you dunk, you shoot 3-pointers, and you run back down the court, okay? Looks like an all-star game. There's almost no defense. There's almost no defense. It's okay. It's worse. I would show it, but things I know get a copyright. Okay. Maybe I'll show it later. I don't know. But thing is, what I'm talking about is that just if you just look at compare the WNBA game, which is more traditional, to the modern NBA game right now. Okay. The modern NBA game looks more like the All-Star games of the 2000 and below. Okay, basically running up and down the court, throwing threes, dunking, all kind of stuff, and then running back down the court. It looks like a more civilized version of a pickup game, a little bit more structured, than a pickup game. That's what it looks like. So when I look at it for like 5 minutes, and I have to turn it off because there's no game there. There's no strategy. There's no game there. I'm gonna pass it around, bump, throw up a three. If I miss, run back down court. Okay. If somebody cuts, I throw him a lob or something like that, and he'll dunk and then run back down the court. Okay. It's not structured to me. KMS says did a project at HBCU 15 years ago. Old facility tech told me, man, all these chicks want to do is go up on that hill after class and shake their ass and be pretty. The older I get, the wiser those words are. That's really all they want to do. Okay. I'm sure KMS, where you work at, and a lot, what they want to do is push paperwork and drink coffee for the most part, and then try to push all the hard work off onto the men. And that's what I see. That's what I've seen. Especially white women. White women are horrible at that, man. They're trying to find a man to push their work off onto. MS Delta says that. I think it was Troubleman 313 said he gets that a lot. Okay, he gets that a lot. White women half-assing their jobs, or black women half-assing their jobs, and then when it comes time, push comes to shove, they try to find a man to actually do the work for them. Anyway, let me get out of here, y'all. I've done. I'm getting ready to clock out. Okay, I was gonna do. Let me show you a little bit of her if I can. What I was gonna do is yesterday, but I was tired. It's this chick in TikTok. Okay, she got to be a comedian because the shit that she says about women, about herself, it's hilarious, and no woman could be that fucked up. Okay, so if I can find her real quick before I go, because she was hilarious. It was actually going to be fun. Okay, she was actually hilarious. She was actually hilarious. Let's see if I can find her. There she is. Let me see. This is one of her videos, right? And the thing is, at first I thought she was serious until I saw the rest of her stuff. And I found out she got to be a comedian because no chick is this fucked up. Can I get some birthday wishes from a beautiful? Oh, Jody. Okay, Jody's a Gemini. Okay. No, she would be a. Oh, she would be a Cancer. That makes sense. Okay, she's a Cancer. So you got a link? Put the link down, Snowman. You got a link? You got a wrench? Put your link in. But this chick has to be a comedian because she's hilarious, right? Because no woman is this fucked up, okay?
The dads came to pick up my son to take him to the beach. He knocks on the door and he's like, hey, I'm picking up, so-and-so to pick him up for the beach. And I'm like, okay, are you taking the rest of his 5 siblings? Because if you're not taking them, then he's not going. He's like, the other kids are not my responsibility. I don't need to take them anywhere. And I'm like, well, if you want to take your child on whatever activities you have planned for the day, then you must include the rest of his siblings. It is not fair that you're going to take one child to the beach and then you were going to go fishing and do all these other activities and for their siblings to be home bored. So I told him, if you do not take the rest of his siblings, if you don't take all 5 of his siblings, he will not be going. And guess what? Now they're here in the backyard playing because he refused to take his siblings with him. And now my son is in the room crying because he thinks his dad is the bad guy. One is not going to go to the beach while the other ones stay here at home not doing anything. That is simply not right. It's all of them or none of them. And in this case, obviously it was none. So now I'm the one that's stuck here with 6 children.
God damn, God.
The thing is, I thought she was serious until I looked at the rest of her stuff, and all that stuff is goofy, just like that. I said she's trolling. Okay, she's playing a character. I was actually gonna do that yesterday because all that shit is hilarious, man, and she does it with a straight face. She should actually go on tour. It's funny as hell. She said dealing with lazy white women at work. Now, white women in the leadership role fired the only dude who knew how to build the device. The rest of the team is struggling. And she said, KMS, what did Kevin say? Oh, wait, I got one. It's even better, right? Okay. Hey, KMS, you should send her this, right? You should send her this one, right? They don't know which one I'm actually going to say, right?
How do you fuck that up? How do you fuck that up?
You send her that one anonymously, okay? Anyhow, let me get out of here, okay? Minion of Justice says, have you read any of the Lee Kuan Yew books? No, I haven't. And do you think that what he implemented could be applied to the black community or African nations? No, I haven't read it in his books, okay? Give me one of his better books. Give me his best book, okay? Give me his best book. And maybe I'll look it up. Yeah, but I would anonymously send her that clip, okay? He's saying, See, Demi Moore character from Margin Call. Oh yeah. She in fact, that was based on a real female character that did come up with that equation. She did. That was actually real. If you actually, I forget her name, but she was a British quant, and she came up with that scheme that blew up the mortgage crisis. Have you heard of Yang Guangqi? He teaches Chinese kids in high school. He says the same things that you have for the past 2 years about the Marxutopia, Russia, and the rise of Trump and Iran. I may have. I don't think I have. But you got a wrench, man. Put the link in. But that chick from Margin Call, Demi Moore's character, was actually based on a real quant, and was actually an actual event. Okay, and all the stuff that stuff was based upon, the CDOs, MBOs, was actually based on her work, on her equation. So she was actually a real person. Okay, is that the white woman who's being lazy is too true? Had one throw me under the bus early in my career. Yeah, man, I hear black ones complain about it all the time. All right. Anyway, y'all, let me get out of here. Okay. And see where is it? I haven't played her in a while.
Good evening. Your time now is 10:52. I'm Jeanette Reyes. We told you at 7:52. I don't want to hold you. We told you at 8:52. Don't let me keep you. This just into our newsroom. You are not obligated to go to your place of residence as your final destination, but it certainly cannot be here.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Музыка Денис Шидер.